Chol tefillah tefillah shechol echad mispalel. Every prayer that everybody prays, hu b'chinas ever meheshechina, is like a limb of the Shekhinah, which we're not really going to get into what the Shekhinah is here, but it's the most possibly tangible presence of God in the world. Let's call that the Shekhinah. Shehem ivrei hamishkan. And the Shekhinah, you can hear that the word Mishkan and Shekhinah, we just mentioned Mikdash Mayat, at the end of the previous year, which is there's the Mishkan. So the Mishkan is actually a physical place that was made, that was the first place that we could do karbanis in a regular, organized way, the way that we do them in the Beis Hamikdash, the Het Kedusha of the Beis Hamikdash. And so all of our prayers are supposed to fit together and to make a Mishkan. Now, we've spoken extensively in this year about our methodology of prayer and how we reach a certain level and what we're supposed to do when we get there and how we connect it with the learning of halachos. But now we're going to see how the prayers of everybody fit together. She'ein shum echad miYisrael yuchal laha'al le'shayfa v'shayfa kol chad leduchtei ela Moshe v'chud. But now that we all have our own separate prayers, that we're all able to go into the city of Mishpat, and we're all able to, by ascending to this city of Mishpat, then the way that we learn halacha there, we become a shofet in Mishpat, and we positively affect the emotions that are sent to every person in the world. Well, we maybe need a little bit of teamwork once we get there. It's great if we're all up there trying to do it ourselves, but you can't make a minyan with only one guy, right? If everybody's in a different room, you have to, you can have a guy mix in with the minyan. If there's already 10 guys in the room and he's outside the room looking in, he can answer Kaddish and be Yotzi, but actually the 10 all have to be mamish in the room together. So for some reason, this is something that Moshe is uniquely capable of doing. We've discussed the idea that we have to connect our prayers to the Tzadik, even though that's a little bit difficult, because haven't we been learning about how to pray like how the Tzadik prays the whole time? So then what's really the big difference between just doing isn't that automatically connecting to the Tzadik? If I get good at that, isn't that sort of me being like the Tzadik, and then I'm connected to the Tzadik that way? What's this Chiddush? Now we have to bring this other guy in, and we have to connect the prayers to him. So we're learning another difference between us and the ultimate tzaddik, is that the ultimate tzaddik is able to, everybody else who's trying to be a tzaddik, he's able to take their efforts and put them together into a cohesive thing. Like we're really going to take the city of Mishpat by storm and be able to effectively take the place over and make everybody's emotions good and helpful. Bishvil zeh tzarich lehavi u'lekasher kol tefillas tzaddik ador. And because of this, because of Moshe's unique ability, we have to bring and to connect all of our prayers to the Tzadik Ador. Now, we said earlier in the same sif, that we have to connect our prayers to the Tzadik Ador. It sounds like we're saying the same thing, but no, he says something different here. That we have to bring and to connect our prayers to the Tzadik Ador. So what is this new word? We have a new word, bring. Moshe Kasuv, he brings the words from a pasuk, Vayaviu as a Mishkan el Moshe, and they had to bring the Mishkan to Moshe. It's interesting. It doesn't say the pieces of the Mishkan. It says in the pasuk they bring the Mishkan to Moshe. V'hu yadeya la'ah alei shayfa b'shayfa, and he knows how to take all the different pieces. La'ah sois oisa Kuma Shlema, and put them all together so it's one comprehensive thing. It's not a bunch of freelancer tzaddikim out doing the thing. There's actually like a tzaddik headquarters going on here. Which because of Yakim Moshe as the Mishkan. And we have a pasuk that says Moshe was the one who officially put it together and stood up the Mishkan. So what is this chiddush that Rabbi Nachman brings us, is that we have to bring our prayers to the tzaddik. How do you even do that? Isn't a prayer like sort of an incorporeal thing? Connect, okay, bring. So let's look at the original context of these Pesukim a little bit, and maybe we can mafarish them according to the concept in Likutei Moharan we've been discussing so far, and get a little bit of clarity on why Rabbi Nachman brings this Chiddush at the end of the Sif. Sif Vav and Siman Beis, and Likutei Moharan. The Teichel kol avodas Mishkan oihel moed. We completed all of the work of setting up the tent of meeting with Hashem. V'yasu b'nei Yisrael kechoel asher tziva Hashem es Moshe keinasu. And the nation of Israel did like everything that Hashem told Moshe to do. It doesn't say in the pasuk that we did everything that Hashem told Moshe to tell us to do. It's not the words. Like everything that Hashem told Moshe to do. So this is in keeping with what we've been learning so far, that even though there's this great Tzadik and there's this Mashiach character who has this special way of praying, Rabbi Nachman's sitting here explaining to us how to pray like Mashiach, as we've discussed previously. Okay, so it's like what Hashem told Moshe to do, literally. We was a Mishkan of Moshe, and then we brought the Mishkan of Moshe, as oil, as kol kelev, kurasav, kurashav, brichav, mudav, adanav, and all the parts, all the things that were going to go inside of it, and all the equipment to set it up. And then, also, 10 Pesukim later, it says almost the exact same words. That's kol avoda. Didn't you already tell us that? Just like the things that Hashem told Moshe to do, we did those things too, like the stuff that Hashem told Moshe to do. Why does it tell us that twice? So we discussed the idea that there's a lot of excuses that people can come up with, and it's not their fault. It's because the city of Mishpat is overrun by goons, canal, as we've discussed. And this sends bad emotions to people, right? Emotions are sort of like a box of chocolates, thoughts and emotions. We just get them randomly sent to us, and we can choose how much we're going to engage with them. And if it's a good thought, we should pursue it. And if it's a bad thought, it's also to pursue it, and we should push it with both hands. But wouldn't it be great if we got good thoughts always in the first place, or at least better thoughts, right? So one particular category of this are reasons not to do reasons not to go to the Tzadik, reasons not to do the avodah that's related to the Tzadik. So, one could think, if we're just going to bring this thing to Moshe anyway, why did I have to do any work in the first place? I was just going to bring it to Moshe. It seems like take another step further. It seems like, maybe I even wasted my time. If I couldn't even have accomplished it by myself, why? And I had to bring it to Moshe in the end of the day. Why didn't I just bring it to him in the first place? There's even something else that underlies that question, which is, that's kind of insulting. You have me do all this work, and then you say, but this guy can do it better. Like it makes it seem like my work is like less valuable or not valuable even. But then we look at the order of the Pesukim. First, it says that the Jews did everything that Moshe was told to do. And then it says we brought our work to Moshe. And so that's where people might get discouraged by this Machshava Zara. But then it comes back and says one more time, no, you guys did what Moshe was told to do. That's actually an amazing thing. It's like the mashal of the talking bird. If you bring a king you want to bring a king a gift, right? You bring gold, silver, I have all that stuff, come on. A king, wait. Bring him a talking human. Oh, come on, I have lots of those. Bring him a talking bird. Oh, that's novel. And so the mashal is like for a human doing a avodah Torah in this face in Olam Hazeh. It's like, wow, look at that little guy go. Right? So, not only should we not feel insulted by this phenomena that we're going to have to bring it to Moshe anyway, but it's very special, so much so that Vayar Moshe as kol malacha, Moshe saw all the hard work that everybody did. V'hine also oisakat shutziva Hashem kain, and wow, they did the stuff that Hashem was telling me to do. Kain also yivarech oisa Moshe, and he blessed them also. The fact that there is always going to be someone above us is not this is not an insult. This is the way that Hashem made the world. It says elsewhere in the Likutei Moharan, I think in Torah base, that no two humans are created at the same level. It is impossible. Hashem wouldn't do that. He doesn't need redundancies. It's just like we have two similar Pesukim here. It's not redundant. There's a message in the fact that almost the exact same words appear twice in that. So now this phenomenon works on multiple levels, meaning to say that if a person doesn't put in the hard work, well, the Tzadik's still above them. If a person puts in the hard work, the Tzadik's still above them. Sounds like the same idea, right? But Hashem doesn't make two identical things, because what would He need to do that for? Everything is special and unique. So when we put in the work, then we raise up our level, and then this winds up raising the tzaddik too, because if we hit that same level that the tzaddik set, then he's got to go higher, because two people can't exist on the same level. It's very simple to understand from anybody who's done any sort of teaching, is that once your students get smarter, now you've got to deal with their questions and they're smarter. and it's a little bit like a house of cards. Like answering a smart question is considerably more difficult than asking a smart question. So the challenge gets amplified and amplified. And especially if you have a few guys in your class who are all asking questions and they all just got smarter. Well, Hashem doesn't make trunya al boryov. He doesn't make a thing that people can't do. He doesn't give you a challenge you can't do. So that means if you give the teacher a challenge that seemingly you're now dealing at the teacher's level, Hashem is going to boost his abilities in order that he has the kelim to deal with that situation. People worry about having a lot of kids. They say they don't have the finances and things like that. But it says in the Zohar that it's Pasach Sinoyim, that it opens a new channel of Shefa, that Hashem sent that kid to the world with a channel of Shefa assigned to him, and as long as everybody's got their spiritual stuff basically straight, they're going to get that axe, they're going to be apatrepis, they're going to be the ones to distribute that channel of Shefa that comes to the world. So as a parent has more children, they also grow. It's a law of nature, at least Hashem's nature. The way that nature actually is, right? Even though you could logically argue otherwise. But one could logically argue, why should I have to work if I'm just going to bring it to the tzaddik? But then we bring this sort of supernatural idea that the tzaddik raises up as we raise up. And then that's good for us too, because we get a better teacher. There's the idea of, where I'm holding a look at the Alshech, it's talking about Pishnaim. There's this idea of the double portion. And one of the ideas is that when a tzaddik passes away, that they are still with us, and in some ways more so, because now they don't have a body slowing them down. So every advancement we make, they're continuing to rain Shefa upon us, and every advancement we make, they make a larger advancement than that. Because a guy who's got 5 guys in his class has to get a little smarter when they all get smarter. And Tzadik has got 10,000 followers. When they get smarter, he's got to get a lot smarter, right? So then we have a better teacher, we have better leadership. When people want to say it's the government's problem. When we improve, we get better leadership. It's a law of nature. Okay. So this is the basic reason why we should do this avoida and then bring it to Moshe and then not be insulted by it. That we have to do that anyway. It helps us. Now let's look at the Rashi on this place. This book doesn't bring all the Rashis, it brings the Rashis that are Negela and Yinenu. It's just the Rashis that are relevant to what we're discussing here. So on the word Vayaviu as a Mishkan, because the compiler of this book knew we were going to ask, why does Rabbi Nachman bring the Havi, this Chiddush word? So he's going to bring Rashi's commentary on the bringing concept. What is this bringing? Shaloi hayu choyla hakimoi. We were able to make all our individual parts of the Mishkan, but we don't all have 10,000 followers. Only the tzaddik does, so only the tzaddik knows where all those followers are holding and is able to actually put them together. Right? Just because I'm part of the audience does not mean it's the same thing as me being the guy on the stage. The guy on the stage has to respond to everybody. The guy in the audience is only relevant to those few people around him. So Moshe is in a unique position. Besides for who Moshe is, Moshe himself even said that if anybody else was in my position, they'd do a better job than me. Now, I'm not going to say that, but I can't argue with Moshe Rabbeinu. So the point being, if we just discuss Moshe's position alone, that's a unique thing. Only the guy on stage is relevant to everybody in the audience. So he has a unique vantage point. He's able to put the pieces together proper. Now Moshe, he didn't actually do anything for the Mishkan. Yeah, it's funny because it said that Hashem told him to do it, and then the nation of Israel went and did all of it and did all the work, and it seems like he didn't actually get to do anything yet, practically. But I'll finish the sentence first. So Hashem gave him a gift that you're going to get the power to actually stand up the Mishkan and put all the pieces together properly and things like this. And again, in the Gale Indianano, what we're talking about with the Moharan here is that when we increase in our efforts to pray like Mashiach, then Mashiach essentially gets a free gift, or the Tzadik gets a free gift. They didn't actually work for that. They weren't working on self-improvement. They were working on improving their class. They succeeded in improving their class. And now it's like, oh no, well, I haven't been doing self-improvement this whole time because I've been focused on my class. So I hope I don't drown in this. Right, so Hashem gives them a gift. So now the Tzadik gets a free boost by focusing on others. Right, it's like as tzedakah is yashir. You have tzedakah makes a guy rich. It's a similar idea with teaching here, and especially with someone who's like Mashiach, who's supposed to teach for the whole world. Why wasn't anybody else able to stand up the Mishkan? We've talked about it in an allegorical way, but let's get Rashi's specific answer. Because of the weight of the boards, and we're going to do a little deep dive into this word, karashim, that nobody was strong enough to throw them up and to straighten them, and Moshe was able to do it, was able to stand them up. Why the karashim? Why specifically that item? Mudav, there were other items here that were the karasiv, other items that were potentially heavy, so why the karashim specifically? So the karashim were made of shitim. They're made of shitim wood. I think it's like those wacky trees in Africa that all go to the side. They're all like super knotty, like an olive tree, but like way more. I think this knotty tree. Because of that, it gets the name shitim, which is from Lashon shtus. So everybody has their shtus. And this is the challenge, and it is the challenge of going from one level to another. Is that when I break through the shtus of one level, and I get to a new level, great, now I have a deeper shtus at this new level. Right? It's like, finally I succeeded in becoming vegan, and now I'm stuck snubbing everybody who's not vegan. So it's like, oh, well, that's actually deeper than the problem that I had before. Before I thought I treated animals bad, now I can't even treat other human beings right. At least I was nice to humans back then. So the difficulty with advancing in life is that the shtus gets deeper. There's always another Yetzer Hara that's more cunning than the previous one before, which again has been a great theme in what we've discussed previously in the levels of prayer and the relative Yetzer Haras to each level. So conversely, the fact that there's always somebody on another level than us, always someone above us, no matter what level we're at, this is the cure to this problem of shtus. The difficulty about shtus is that we can't see our own shtus. It's like the idea, like you can't smell yourself, right? And you get home, your wife's like, dude, take a shower. Like, what do you mean? I smell fine. No, you can't smell yourself. Until you're used to yourself. When I was in yeshiva, I was laying. And one day, and I didn't get a lot of corrections, and I thought that was a good thing. And then one day, a guy who was better learning than me comes up and saying, that's really not how that one trup goes. You're supposed to do it, and he sang it to me, and I got sort of nickel about it. Now, it was just three guys in the room. It was me, this other guy who was a better balker than me, and the Rosh Yeshiva. We're the only three guys in the room. And I'm like, oh, come on. I've been laying for months now, and nobody's called me on that. I don't believe you. Rosh Yeshiva turns around and he says, first of all, he's right. You have been doing that wrong, and he is a good balkura who does that right, so you should take what he's telling you. But second, dude, you make loads of mistakes. The reason we don't correct you on all of them is because you'd never want to do it again. Now, as far as the actual laws of correcting people when they're laning, there's different traditions. The Sephardi tradition is supposed to correct them about everything. The Ashkenazi tradition is to say that embarrassing them is worse than messing up. So you're yoitzi even if you don't correct them on even one thing, and they make loads of mistakes. The general down the middle answer is you only correct people on something that changes the meaning of it. So generally speaking, a trup will almost never change the meaning of it unless you get the end or maybe the middle wrong. But it wasn't an end or middle figure that I was getting wrong. So, all this time I thought I'd been laning nearly perfectly. Actually, I was making loads of mistakes. We can't know our own shtus. That's the difficult thing about shtus. So, the cure to that is the tzaddik, is the fact that there's always a guy who's going to be on another level than us. So it's actually a wonderful thing because it allows us to advance. Without that, we could not advance because we can't see the thing that's holding us back. If that wasn't so, we'd all be on the Ein Sof Baruch Hu right away. But we get this gift of take it a step at a time, buddy. And so it's like the Rosh Hashiva said to me, if we told you all your mistakes at once, you'd never want to do it again. So step by step. So Karashim, when it's the same letters as kasher. So this same word that sort of refers to if you translate this Rashi allegorically, we'd say the people were not able to stand up the Mishkan because of the weight of their own shtus. So that's why they had to go to Moshe. It's not that they didn't do a good job, but they had to go to Moshe because specifically only Moshe, from his vantage point, not even to account for his own merit, but just from where he was in the order of greatness that Hashem made it be in the world, he could see the issues that everybody had, and so he could help them advance to the next level. And we know what happens when the audience advances to the next level, that the Tzadik then also advances to the next level. Right? So then Hashem is maniach lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu hakamasle. Hashem gives him the ability to stand it up. Amar Moshe lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu ech efshar hakamasle al yedei adam. How could a human being do this? Don't we all have this problem? Don't we all have the problem that we all have all our shtus? So I'm also a human. So Ish Elokim, he's still surprised that Hashem said he's going to do this. Amarle, Alshech yadecha. Give it a shot, kid. Hashem said, try. It's the same thing that we're supposed to do. Yes, we're not going to actually daven like Mashiach Tzidkenu and bring salvation to the world with our own personal prayers. Maybe not. We're supposed to actually believe that we could do that. It's like a tenet of faith in Breslau that you can do that. But, okay, maybe not today. Maybe it'll be like next week. I'll be able to do that or something. The week after that could be. But we're supposed to try. Right, so Hashem says to Moshe the same thing that the Jews already did a really good example of. I don't even know. The Pasuk says that it was the stuff that was commanded to Moshe to do. So I don't even know if the Jews thought they were going to be able to accomplish it on their own at all. Or they knew that at the end of the day they were going to have to bring it to Moshe because it was the stuff that was commanded to Moshe to do. But they tried. So he says. So Hashem says to Moshe, "Try." And he started to work, and his the thing just goes up. Mishkan. That we see words in a pasuk. The pasuk is not actually about here. I think it's brought in the next. Yeah, but Hukam Mishkan. It's not that Moshe. It doesn't say that Moshe was Mekayim in the Mishkan. It says that Hukam. It was stood up. That's how you translate Hukam. It was stood up. So it just stood up on its own. So then Moshe could basically have the same question that the Jews could have had before, which is that why didn't you just do it yourself in the first place if you're going to do that? And there are numerous answers to that question. Why did Hashem make Moshe try? Why did he tell him to try? But Moshe did not tell the Jews to try to make the Mishkan, at least not in what's brought in our... So this is the basic difference between the interactions. The Jews made the Mishkan, and then they brought it to Moshe to finish it. Moshe did his standing up with the Mishkan thing, and he basically brought it to Hashem, so to speak, to finish it. Those things are similar. What's different is that Hashem made this explicit commandment to Moshe to try to do it. So as far as taking our shtus to someone, there's two sorts of shtus. There's a shtus that I know it's a shtus, and the shtus I don't know it's a shtus. And the more knowledgeable someone is, the harder it is for them to identify the shtus that they don't know, because they can identify all the shtus that they do know, and they know lots of stuff. So, for example, if my 1-year-old kid wants help putting on his shoes, and I just put his shoes on for him, okay, well, great. But if he asks help, I know he's able to put on his shoes, even though he usually gets the foot wrong or the strap wrong or something, because he's like a 1-year-old kid. But if he puts on the shoe himself, then he has reached the point where it is actually relevant to come to me and like point out that something's wrong with the shoes and he doesn't know what it is, and then I switch around which foot it's on or something like that. But if he had not made any effort to put on his shoes, you don't need me for that, right? Try. so also us bringing we can't just connect our prayer to the tzaddik, because there could be loads of problems with our prayer that we know about, right? Like if I went back when I was laning in yeshiva, if I had just like not been practicing or something, and somebody corrected me on that, I would have no excuse to have any sort of reaction to being corrected, because look, I know that I'm not practicing, so I know that's why I'm falling down on the job over here. No, I worked hard at it, so that's why I had an ego. Right? We say as you get to another level, there's always another klipa associated with that level. But it's not enough that we just connect our prayers to the tzaddik, that we just think about the tzaddik in our prayers and stuff. We do actually have to try to pray like the tzaddik, and that's the chiddush of that we have to bring our prayers as close to the level of that tzaddik's prayers that we can bring them, so that our prayers, according to our own estimation, are as perfect as can be, and we have eliminated all shtusim that we can detect. And now it's really time to bring it to the tzaddik and learn the things that we could not have detected. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you very much.